Okay. Hello, folks. Uh, Welcome to another Bitovi live coding stream. Today we are going to be doing a very kind of fly by the seat of our pants stream where we're going to be working on a 3D first person controlled website written in Angular that's intended to be kind of a information page for our team holiday party that I assume we will have this year again because we had one last year. Just for a little context, last year I had some free time, so I made kind of a 90s themed, obnoxious website for our holiday party with kind of information about like drink recipes and some of the activities we're going to do. So this year, even though I realize it's just now August, I decided to jump the gun and be ambitious and want to make like a Nintendo 64 era sort of 3D experience for the website. I was not asked to do it this year, but I figure I started early, so I got in there before anybody else could take dibs on it. And I started early also because it's been a while since I've done anything with WebGL. And ThreeJS, which is the library that I was planning to use, has changed a lot and gotten better. And so has its integration with Blender. It's much easier to export geometry and textures and stuff than it was last time I used it. So that's nice. And I also found that there's a Angular library called Angular 3 that makes it a lot easier to do ThreeJS stuff inside of an Angular application with components that represent like the canvas and cameras. And it's much easier to compose things, and you can actually have Angular components that render specific geometry, and rather than having to do math and raycasting to see if a mouse click is overlapping where geometry is appearing on the screen, you can just put a click listener on that object and it is smart enough to know whether it hit it or not. So a lot of improvements there. So I'm going to start, I guess, by kind of explaining what I've got so far, and then we will go from there.
I'm super excited to learn more about the Angular 3. I've heard of ThreeJS, but like being an Angular developer for so long, I've forgotten how to be a JavaScript developer. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to jump into it, but seeing how Angular 3 is the thing, I'm more willing to give it a shot.
Yeah, definitely. I will say my initial plan was just to have like uh, use Three.js and then make a lot of things available on Window and write a service in Angular that can interact with that, which admittedly not the best, architectural decision or really a great way to go about it, but I wasn't sure how else to do it. So this is quite nice that they're somebody that's better at that stuff and has used Three.js obviously more recently than I have, has already worked on solving that problem. And this is the library we're going to be using. It's just called Angular-3. Here's like the Git repo. It's in active development. I think it's like version 6 and has some fairly good documentation that explains like the basis of it. It's apparently based off of a React version of this library. Um, but you basically get components for, let's see, like our first scene. Like you can have a mesh that's a component and a canvas. And I've got that sort of set up here in this scene component here. Let's see. Yeah, so we've got a canvas component that's got some options in it. And then inside of that, we've got a primitive that has the main scene geometry and then some additional components I've got in here that are rendering additional pieces of geometry that I didn't want to have embedded into the main object, so they're loaded separately. And the advantage here is I can have like click listeners on them and stuff like that. And then I've got a kind of my extended version of the default FPS controls, which is nice. Going back to Mark's, hesitation about jumping into a JavaScript library, this is what the original version of what I wrote um, looked like. So just some lovely JavaScript, a lot
Oh,
of,
that's not TypeScript at all. It's
no, it's not. It's definitely not TypeScript. I'm going to, well, I think, okay, maybe we're doing okay. I may have way too many things open on my computer that are using OpenGL to stream. So people, if like frame rate is awful or audio is chopping, please let me know and I will close some of those things. Um, but right now, kind of where we're at, and this probably will come through. I feel like these are already chugging. Give me just 1 second here. Let me kill some things. Oh boy, yeah. Let's get rid of
Yeah,
Substance Designer.
I think it is a little bit.
All right, let's kill Substance Designer. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, I see you guys in chat. Yeah, no, I was the first ish. You guys are not the first. I'm taking a screenshot to prove it. Um, how dare
Okay.
you? How dare you? Fake news.
All right, that feels a little bit better. Also, maybe this scene may have. Does this have actual? Oh, this has got WebGL and stuff on it too. Let me close that so we're not having multiple instances of WebGL running. Okay. So this is right now what the application looks like. We basically got, whoa, um, this room here. It's got some objects in it. You can kind of move around with the mouse and you can walk around. And if you bump into things that should be solid, you'll get like a little kickback. So you can do, okay, this, oh no, this is the soda collision. Okay. Maybe the wall, that'll be a better example. Let's walk over to the wall and try to escape. And I should bounce off of it. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Okay.
Yeah, and I also want to point out because Wade, you showed me this. I forget when exactly, but not too long ago, and it's impressive to see like that 3D stuff happening in the browser. But it's obviously really choppy when you screen share, right?
Yeah.
Now that I'm running it locally and I'm actually interacting with things, I can say for sure like there's no performance issues. Things are like looking really crisp. Um, it's really cool.
Yeah, so the idea here is like different things in the room, such as this, what was initially going to be a snow globe, and then I kind of forgot about it being a snow globe, so I made it like a crystal ball. You'll be able to interact with specific things, and like a little pop-up will come up that can have text, so like a regular website would have. So it's more like navigating around to get to different things. Um, and you cannot run it yet anywhere just because it's still like very early stages, and I do have it in a repo, but it's not shared anywhere yet. So yeah, I haven't gotten that far. I'm also haven't quite figured out how to do the repo without having like 18 megabyte binary files that are going to be changing very frequently, which are like the geometry. So I probably shouldn't be committing those, and I'm not sure how to host them elsewhere, but it will eventually have like a public website that you can access it. Um, so anyway, so for the agenda today, got here's my lovely handwriting. Um, I've got a very holiday themed cactus object that I've made, which is really not holiday themed at all, that I want to get showing up in the scene. I also have a service that makes it easier to position um, like objects like the crystal ball and eventually this cactus within the scene so that I don't have to remember where those positions are. I can kind of show you the Blender scene in a second and explain how that's set up. But I've got a service so that I can just, um, it can register positions of objects by their names, and then the objects can look up their position and know where to go. I also want to, so right now the first person controls, it's got like mouse look. And when you click on something and the overlay appears, the mouse events don't pass through. So you just kind of start drifting and looking up at the ceiling and spinning when an overlay appears. So it's possible to disable the controls with escape and then re-enable them. So I want to make it so that when an overlay appears, your controls get disabled, and when you close them, it goes back to it. I also want to, and this isn't really coding, but it's with the intent of having something to write code for, build like some glasses that look like a cocktail or like a drink thing so that I can put those into the scene and make those interactive too. And then there was something else. Um, I feel like it was something I just said. I don't know what the other steps are going to be. So let's just put some question marks there for now. All right. So I'm really glad I set that up. Okay, so first of all, the position things. Let me explain how stuff works now. So this is the scene in Blender, which is what I'm using for modeling. This may be very tiny, but hopefully it shows up okay-ish. So there's the main scene collection, which has, like if I hide it, it has everything except these little standalone objects, which right now are just, oh, okay, the table's not even a separate thing. I guess I should have remembered that. Right now it's just the little corkboard, the crystal ball, and then the cactus. So that all gets exported as a single thing. Let me make this kind of solid here. Okay. And then there are some other objects here that, let me actually make this, there we go, textured. Okay. So you can see these gray objects that appear if I hide them. So they're anything that's meant to be solid that you can't walk through. I've got these boxes made. And I think there's one for the table too. Okay, yeah, there is. It's barely big enough to cover the table, but that's okay. So this is just so that these are objects. The collision stuff works by checking to see if you're, basically when you move around, there's a sphere that is so low poly that it's more like a diamond, but it follows the camera around, and then as you're moving, it does some math to see are any of the vertices on that sphere intersecting another piece of geometry. So if I did accurate collisions detection, like for one of these pieces of geometry that have a lot of points and a lot of faces, it would be incredibly slow. So by using a cube, which just has 8 vertices, yes, and 16 faces. I don't know. That's embarrassing that I don't know how many faces a cube has. No, not that many. 16. Good gracious. Okay. Anyway, I'm not going to attempt to do math. But anyway, yes, this just like simplifies the object collision. I've got an operator, an RxJS operator that takes the scene geometry and hides these when you load based on a list of names. Oof, love to see a cow. That would be
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, we're
Um,
getting a request for a cow. I second that. It would be nice to get a cow render.
so for these secondary objects, like the cactus, um, it gets exported as its own object, and then in its place, oops, that's not going to work because I hit it. Uh, there is a little crosshair object here that I can't even click on. There we go. You probably can't even see that, but this gets exported as an empty piece of geometry as part of the main scene, and then I can look it up by name and position those objects in those locations. So I've got the cactus exported. I'm actually just going to export again just to make sure. Exporting these as GLTF file, a binary GLTF, which is like OpenGL transmission format, which is a really nice thing that can include shader information, textures, and geometry all in one file instead of having to export as like JSON and load it separately. Okay, so now that that's done, I've got a cactus component here, and I'm going to base it off of my corkboard component. So let me open this up for reference here. Okay.
That's
I'm
a
also
good
gonna,
question. So we,
what's
we
the
got a
question?
question asking, can you lazy load objects?
That's a good question. I think technically, yes, that's what's happening. They don't actually, at least the secondary ones aren't appearing until they're on screen because there is a noticeable stutter um, as you're turning to look towards the crystal ball right before it comes into view, like it stops for a second. It's nothing I'm doing. If it's something that happens, it's something that Angular 3 is doing itself. Um, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm actually going to close this because I feel like that'll hopefully speed up my coding experience. Oh my gosh, okay, it did considerably. Okay, so we don't need a style sheet because I'm not actually going to be running anything that would use a style sheet, so I'm just going to delete that. go away? Okay, pick that up. All right, so we're going to want our geometry and our position. Make those read-onlys. And have those missing imports. Oops, let's not comment it out. I want to add an import. Add all missing imports. Let's see if it'll do that right. Sometimes, oh, it did it and it's happy. That's cool. Okay. And in our constructor here, we need a couple things. We need our loader from, wait, is this already, this is already a standalone? Okay, cool, it is. We need to inject our geometry loader. So this is coming from 3, or Angular 3. No, that's the wrong thing.
Oh, that's cool. So this is, you're using standalone components. I assume that obviously this is an Angular 14 project.
Yes, it is. Actually, the latest version of Angular 3 updated to support Angular 14 and made everything in it a standalone component. So everything's like a standalone pipe, a standalone component. So I could either be set in my ways and go with faithful non-standalone components and have to import everything in the module, or I could just embrace modern times and do standalone components and
Embrace change.
import things individually, which actually is nice because this way I'm importing things and I'm having to learn what they are rather than just assuming everything exists and that kind of stuff. Okay, so we got our loader for the geometry, and then I want my position service. Which is fairly simple. It's just an observable on an object, basically, that has a method that I can subscribe to for a specific object name, and it will give me that vector here. Okay.
And we're going to be doing some development stuff with that service, or is that now? Is this happening?
Well, yeah, I'm starting out by just getting it showing up, but as part of getting it to show up, we'll be using that service.
Cool.
Okay. So I've also got kind of a loose system of storing information about geometry in a separate set of files here.
So we got another good question here. Yeah, I also don't know much about ThreeJS, but can you use Angular components for state and to represent the objects within the 3D canvas?
Yes, yes. So this component will be representing the cactus itself. So interactivity, if I add click events to this component, it will be clicking specifically on that piece of geometry when it's on the scene. And I can have state. There's actually, it uses an NGRX store, I believe, as part of the underlying Angular 3 library. So there is like a shared component state and like scene state that you can access, anything that has geometry, like mesh or primitive components within it.
So like if I
Yeah,
have,
it's really nice. It's much better than having to like here's a scene, let me insert this thing into it and either have to like keep a reference or search for it again in like the scene graph object.
that's cool. And like also like so like you can base like if I want to click callback on a div, I just do that and I just click it, right? And like, do I have to do any math or do like figure out the angles and the distance I'm like away from something, or like how?
No, you actually click events on mesh objects or primitives will give you like an NGT click event, which has like the native click information, but it also has stuff about um, like a vector that says how far away you were when you clicked it and that kind of stuff. So I can say I only want you to be able to click it if you are, within like 3 generic vector units. I don't think I modeled this to any. Actually, that's not true. I did model this in meters, but I didn't model it to be like real life meters. So things have sizes in meters, but they may like the doorway may be like somewhere between 1 and 19 meters tall, so not really to scale, but things are relatively scaled to each other, I guess. But yeah, it's really nice and a much much like improvement over just doing it all manually. Um, so I believe I made, okay, cool, I did a nice cactus geo file here, which has some information about like the path to it, an ID for it, and then like convert or combine that into a single cactus geo thing here. So I can copy over what I had done before to load the geometry. So store that in my geo object. It's going to equal use the loader. We want to use the GLTF loader, which is, I guess you'd say graphic language or graphics library transition or transmission format. It's kind of weird to say like what GL stands for without the open part, or at least it feels weird to me. And this will be our cactus geo.modelpath. Okay. And then we want to pipe off that. Oops. Okay, this needs to be imported. Oops, go away, tip. You're blocking my mouse. And we want to do our fancy new, okay, yeah, let's talk about the take until destroyed thing that Mark just introduced me to. So typically for cleanup, and actually I'm not even going to be directly subscribing to this, so this is probably not a great example of using it, but I will talk about it now that I've given myself a segue to talk about it, and then delete it because I'm going to be using the async pipe, so I don't have to clean it up manually. So, but typically, if you're subscribing to something inside of a component and not inside of a template with the async pipe, you want to make sure that that subscription gets cleaned up. And the pattern I have been using is take until and then having a subject that emits on the destroy lifecycle event in the component so that so the subscription will continue until either it ends on its own or the on destroy thing emits, which will clean it up. But Mark showed me that you can have a custom operator in Angular 14 that uses the change detector ref from your, wait, okay. So wait a minute, you're injecting the change detector ref and then casting it to a view ref. And then when that fires on destroy, it's doing what I would have done in this life cycle event, right? Can you explain that in words that are more accurate, Mark?
I'm trying to follow you on thingy, but it's not moving it.
Oh, hold on. I think I can
I see it
force
now.
you
You're
to.
on line 79. Yeah, there you
Okay,
are.
okay, you found it. Cool.
Yeah, the view ref. Yeah, so the view ref, it's dependency injected. Um, so that reference will come from whatever thing is affecting the view. So in our case, it's going to be the component. And likewise, if you have this you inject this into the directive instead of a component, in terms of dependency injection, it would also get its own view ref. So yeah, that's the magic of the inject function. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah,
Very
and
cool.
on destroy is just a callback when the view gets destroyed. So no longer need to call ng on destroy.
So yeah, that's. Oh wait, not crystal ball. I want the cactus. Where'd my cactus go? There it is. Okay. So yeah, that is really cool. But we're not going to be calling subscribing here, so I don't actually need it right now. But that's okay. We're actually just going to map off of this, and so this. Why is this unhappy? Okay, ESLint, make yourself happy. All right. So piping off of this, we're going to end up with a. Okay, I don't actually have a map import. Let's add map. We end up with a. Okay, more parentheses. All right, fine. Let's give it a body. You happy now?
Also, I think what's a GLTF, graphics transfer. Wait, the
Uh,
graphics language transfer file.
yeah.
Yeah, transmission format. Oh,
Yes,
graphics
transmission
language
format.
transmission format. Interesting.
Uh, I guess because I'm not trying to think. All right, fine. Rather than explaining it, let me actually write the code in, then I can say what like the GL thing is going to be. Oh, it doesn't actually know. Okay, what have I done wrong here? All right, let me just finish this here. So we get our scene, and then our scene only has one, well, it may have more than one. Okay, here we go. Now it's completing. Cool. Okay. Parentheses, make everybody happy. Okay, so
Yeah, it
it's
looks
just
like maybe a
an
formatting
object
thing.
map, and then our object has different things on it. Like we can access all the animations, all the cameras, materials, nodes. Um, you can access the scene, or I guess it can contain multiple scenes. And then you can also have user data, um, which is just miscellaneous information. But we really just care about our one scene inside of our cactus file. And we just want the first child because as long as I exported it the way that I intended to, that should be all that's in there. And now we want our position to come from our position service. And we use get position. This probably, I don't know if it's great convention. I don't think I've ever added a $sign to a method that returns an observable, but I feel like I don't know if that's against convention. I did it though, so good luck, try fun. That's, yeah, TLTF. So we want to get position, then we want our cactus model ID. Cool. Okay, and then that is all that this component has to have in it. Well, okay, it's not really. It's all it has to have it in at the moment, but I need a couple more things, like some imports. And I'm just going to be very specific and not import the common module because I'm sure it has things in there that I don't need. Unless it only contains ngIf in the async pipe, which I don't believe is true.
Oh, that's interesting. So like even for like ngIf and the async pipe, I wonder where those get provided or
Common module,
declared.
that's why
Common.
it defaults to having common modules, so you get all that stuff that you would expect.
So
But
you
that's
prefer not
too,
to.
well, I don't know that I've done standalone components enough to really have a strong opinion, but it's how I did it in corkboard, so it's my opinion now, and I'm sticking to
Fair.
it for consistency. Okay, so now moving on to the template, which right now is not helpful, and I don't actually think would even show up really. We're going to want to do an ng container, and we're going to want to ngIf off our geometry, give it an async, and let's call it geo. It's good enough for me. And now we want to actually use Angular 3 to render our object. So it's going to be a primitive. And our object here is just going to be our geometry. Now, the problem with doing it directly with async pipe off GeoObject is that doesn't match the type because it could be null, because maybe that would never resolve to anything. And then we get complaints, and I have strict mode on here.
Go strict mode.
You Is it worth it though? I don't know. It's worth it to me because I have to think about what goes into stuff. But in an actual project, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call this not an actual project. It is an actual project because it's something that I'm working on.
Oof.
Um,
Oof.
yeah, real harsh words there. I probably will just use common module, but this is my first time actually using standalone components, so I'm easing myself in.
I
Uh,
mean, I would think that like as a practice, like that makes sense, right? Like if you have the ability not to grab everything from a module, I think it has a totally meaningful way to go about it, right? Like just don't grab all the things then.
Oops. Okay, so Mark, here's a question for you.
Mhm.
This feels disgusting to be
Is this okay?
doing two
Sometimes
ifs.
the it doesn't follow you for some reason. Okay, there it is. Okay, I can see.
Position has the same case where um, I can't uh, use the async pipe assigning the value because it could end up being null. So, ooh, we got a follower. Thank you.
Yeah.
That scared me. I was like, what is this sound? I don't recognize this sound. Okay. Um, is there a
Yeah.
better way? Yes.
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, like your question. The value could be null. So yeah,
So
what do
is
you
there
do
a better
about
way
that?
than doing double containers here?
Double containers? Yeah, you could just have like a single object with properties. That could be geo object async, and also have position async as well.
Position's not dependent. You could technically, and position is set up, the position service is set up so that if there is no position for something, it'll just return a 000 vector. So it should always return. Okay, so I just do like ngif, uh,
It's funny as you're
something like that.
typing because your name shows up over the first line. I'm gonna have to like resize the sidebar so that the name doesn't overlap.
Oh no,
Yeah, that
sorry, I
looks right
covered
to
that.
me.
So this would just be,
Config dot, yep, and then config dot.
oh no, it's just, okay, so that doesn't get around it. The null comes through with that because
Okay,
it's
so
just
that they're just nullable.
yeah, so it doesn't like that. It's okay. That would be cool if that worked, but
Is there a reason why you don't want to pass null?
because these don't want to accept null.
Oh.
That's where the error is coming from. It's a type error with the ng primitive or NGT
And
primitive.
is ng primitive? Does that come directly from Angular 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
that's
well, I
okay.
mean, you could also filter out for nullish values, and then the type wouldn't be observable of thing or null. Um,
Would it be
but yeah,
would the derived type be smart enough I did add a filter to it?
yeah. So like if you go to your component
Because I think it's
and you
coming from
hover,
the async pipe is where the or null part's coming from. Because
really, it shouldn't. Async pipe should be smart enough to hint away that that's a value. If I'm looking at your types for geo object and position, yeah, you don't have null in there. Weird.
yeah, that's okay.
Um, yeah.
I guess I could make a new observable, but this is fine for now. I won't be too picky.
Fine.
Um, okay, so let's make this show up in our scene. And actually, that's the easy part here
Oh,
because I just have to add the, um,
yeah. Not to imply that we should. It keeps unfollowing you. Okay, there you go. Not to imply that we should do that. Do any more refactor because like it's probably fine as is. But that's a really good point from
merging.
chat. Yeah, I don't know if merge is the right one because it would be coming in the same stream, but something like combine latest would be really cool. Yeah, and just
Oops.
have a single observable to avoid the nest one.
Oh yeah, this
Um,
is another uh, problem that it's not really a problem, but it's something that has to change my thinking. I'm sitting here trying to figure out why my code completion is not coming up and letting me put in the component I just added. It's because this is a standalone component and I haven't imported that component. So my initial thought to go to the component itself was actually correct, even though I said it wasn't. I don't have to add any code, but I do have to make it available here in the imports. Um,
ooh, wouldn't it be cool in the future, like if Angular would be smart enough to like be like, oh, you're trying to reference this component that clearly exists, but you haven't imported it yet, and it's like auto import.
it sounds like a great opportunity for somebody to write a plugin for VS Code, and then maybe other
Yeah,
code editors at a later time that people use.
other editors
Other editors are
terrible.
available. Um,
I guess.
okay, Cactus. There we go. Bam. Okay, so at Cactus component is now in my scene A component, and if I still had the scene opened. I don't know why. Oh no, there it comes back. I guess I have to click inside. That's weird. I have to click over here to get that to come back up. But let's see if we have a cactus now and if it's positioned. Beautiful blue gradient. Whoop, okay. Um, hmm. I don't see a cactus. Well, let's see. Okay. Is it like in the air somewhere? No. I was expecting it to be. So I was not expecting it to be over where it should be because I didn't think the position stuff had been set up. But I was expecting it to be in the middle of the scene, which is going to be like, oh, look, it's the wrong place. Let's move on and add the registration for the position stuff. But it's, oh, I wonder if it's not showing up just because the position thing isn't happening. Okay, that could be. So the second ngIf, maybe my position service isn't clever enough to just return something by default. All right, well, either way, let's see if registering the position makes it appear. And this is a good case of where to use the um, my or this take until destroyed thing. Okay, so go ahead and take our room scene. Oh no, Notepad, not even Notepad++. Actually, I bet Fabio was born after Notepad++ died. It's probably not true, actually. You're not. You're both similar ages, I think. All right, pipe.
We are
Take.
very, very similar ages.
Oh, whippersnappers.
Yeah.
And your Notepad++ pluses. No plus plus isn't
Yeah.
enough for you. All right. So we got take until it destroyed there. So that'll clean it up because you're going to have to subscribe to this. And now we're going to use an operator I wrote called lookup object position that goes through the geometry because this our room scene is being loaded the same way the other prefix or yeah prefix operator. Is that what it's called?
I'm gonna Google it and then pretend like
I
that
know it's
was
like
my idea.
addition, like postfix, and I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I had to talk about maths, as evidenced by my inability to count how many faces are on a square. I mean, on a cube. Okay, anyway,
Funny
this
part.
operator will search through the object and find an object with a given name and then return its vector position. So I've got all the positions here stored in a single object. Maybe we'll see if I set that up. So this should be, okay, the cactus model ID. We'll see if it, uh, okay, cool. I have not set that up yet. All right, and then I'm just going to take the position, assuming that it will eventually come back, and then use my object position service and register that position using the model ID and passing in that resulting position. Okay, and let's go ahead and update positions. Okay, yeah, there was nothing registered yet. So that was cactus, model ID, and I think it's just called cactus position in the thing. I guess we'll find out if not, because it
Or
will.
or raw cactus position.
No, that was just a group making fun of me for my raw cactus. It's better than a cooked cactus. Okay, and then I have to subscribe. Are you happy now, yes, Lint? Why are you? What's? Oh, wow. Okay. I know that subscribe really pushed that over the limit and have to change the formatting. Okay. Do we have a cat? Oh my gosh. No. Okay. Not focusing yet. Oh, it's refreshing again. I made that way too narrow. It's probably going to mess up my center. There we go. Let's see. Oops, I moved. Let's turn around.
I am
Okay, we
not
do
finding a
not
cactus.
have a cactus. Okay, so let me make sure I actually exported the cactus properly. It could be that I did not. And an easy way to tell that is to see what the file size is.
You should
2.3
ask the crystal
megabytes.
ball.
That's right. Um, okay, I've got the cactus selected. Export it. Let me make sure all my settings are right. Okay, include. I tried to write a Python script to export these things all at once, but I my days of using Python were pre Python 3, and also I don't remember all the ins and outs of the Blender API, so I gave up on that. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, still 2.3, so that's good. This is in the right folder. Yes. Okay. All right. Second investigation. Let's see if the mesh is actually getting loaded. Oof, boy, that really squishes that scene. Um, all right, let's refresh. There it is, cactus getting hit. Ooh, it's a lot of blobs. What are these blobs? Oh, it's probably the debugger stuff. I don't know. It's all right.
Hmm.
Okay, so, whoa, boy, yeah, we need to fix that. Window resize causes the turn center to disappear or be
Yeah.
its original position. That's definitely going to be a bug that will not be easy to pass off as a feature. Um, all
Nah,
right,
it's the
let's look
spin feature.
at, let's put some little debug messages in here. Let's start out by doing a tap here. Okay, fine. It actually imported fine.
So I've noticed that you like to use console.info. Is there a particular reason you like that one over like just console.log?
Because I was on a project where console.log was ruled away from being used and info was not. So in order to get my message to show up, I used info, and this is information, not a log. I don't know. It doesn't matter. They made two of them. They're functionally identical, unless you want to filter the console. I just like the one that requires an additional keystroke. Don't judge how I spend my free time. Um,
Fair.
can't
Yeah.
find any tap. It doesn't know how to fix it. Well, fine. I guess I can fix that myself then.
Manually add tab. I
Gosh.
always it's weird with RxJS. Like the imports like sometimes like just don't want to auto import for whatever reason.
Let's
That
put
would be
this in.
frustrating for like new developers.
Yeah. Just imagine back in the days of Notepad++, you had no option. You had to type in tap on your own. You'd have to know that it was called tap and know where it came from.
Yeah, you got to look up documentation. You got to copy
Okay.
and
All right.
paste.
Let's make sure we've looked at where it should be generally. Okay. Pause that. Oops. Okay. So this is interesting. It's also tiny. Sorry, let me make it bigger. Sorry, scene, you have to shrink real small. All right, so I've got my cactus. I'm printing out what comes back from that loader. So got my lovely copyright message here. It's very important. Don't steal my cactus. I love it dearly. Um, okay, we've got a scene. Oh, our scene has no children, though. That could be a, wait, so why is it so, is it just, okay, we've got a scene. The scene has no children. Okay, that's clearly the problem. Our scene has no children. Um, but it's got, am I, But this works. How did I do it on the other ones? This is the other standby trick. If it doesn't work and it's something you've done before, make sure you're doing it the same way. And I am.
Yeah.
Scene, children, 0. Yeah. Okay, the real question is, am I doing something else in the template? Because that one I just did without actually paying attention. Um, no, exact same thing. All right,
It,
let's debug one of
is
these other
the
objects.
Are you able to console out the children array?
There, it's empty.
Okay, so that makes sense, I guess. Is it possible that like there's multiple scenes for some reason or somehow? I don't know.
I see there is a scenes property, but it's only got one thing in it, which makes sense because I'm only expecting there to be. But it is saying that there are nodes, but the scene doesn't have. I'm just going to look at one of the other ones and see. Oh yeah, this is most likely difficult to read. Um, See, the scene thing is not even. It's not necessarily. I mean, I guess I think scenes is like a GLTF concept, whereas in Blender, like you have objects, but they just go into the default scene. Although I have scene groups, so maybe you can export multiple ones. I don't know. But okay, we just can't figure out how to import or add tap. That's okay. I can add it myself.
Tap apparently does not exist. It's not a
Yeah.
thing.
Um, let's just see if. Oh, also about the question about the lazy loading. I guess they're not being lazy loaded because looking at like the network trace, all the mesh are getting loaded at the beginning. So, oh crap! I called them both raw cactus. That's not going to be helpful. Oh well, I can see where
Ah,
it
raw
comes from. Okay,
cactus.
this one's not really a raw cactus, it's a corkboard. Um, okay, scene. Okay, this has empty children too, so maybe that is expected. Some other magic is happening here.
That's very unusual.
All right, let's look at, um, let me look at Blender again here and just make sure that, okay, that corkboard is definitely not there on its own. And what do these groups look like? It is called cactus position. Um, let's see. Oh, I wonder if, okay, this could be an option or a thing. It could be that it's doing the right thing. It may be that the origin of this object is, okay, let's see its position. Okay, its location is over there, over there, 18, 22.
Would it
And
be possible to? Is it possible that the cactus actually is being rendered? We just don't see it.
yes, that is what I'm thinking may be the case. It may be that, so each piece of geometry has like an origin, which is its center. And it doesn't
Mm.
actually have to be the center of the object. It could be, what I'm thinking is this object is being positioned at the position where I think it should be, but if its center is considered like 0, 0, 0 of the scene, not the center of the mesh, it could be its position, if you just loaded it in the middle, would be already off to the side. So if you shift it over more, it would be outside the window. Ooh, let me go back to the thing and see if I can see through the window.
I would say, like, is it possible to make everything else invisible?
Well,
Look out into.
there are windows in the room. I might as well use it. There's nothing else out there to look at other than
Yeah.
the dark blue void. Um,
Also, I don't know if it can help, but there is a cactus like component, I guess, right?
yes, cactus is a
Um,
component.
so
Oh
like
no,
we
that's a
could,
dirty spot on my monitor. I thought I saw something in the distance. Never mind.
yeah, because
Uh,
we could probe that component and try to like look at what its properties are and stuff.
I guess that's true. Um,
Make my way to the windows.
Actually, I'm gonna turn off collision real quick.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Let's go
You
back
should
to my.
have cheat codes when this becomes available.
Yeah, that would be fun. All right, so I have this component that wraps the default FPS component and adds some things like the inability to, like the default one is just first person shooter controls in spirit, meaning you can strafe left and right, move forwards and backwards, and look around, but it doesn't limit you to like walking, so you could just fly up into the air, which would be fine, but I'd have to make like ground and floor. Those are the same thing sometimes, usually, unless you're upside down.
Some
Ground
people's
and
floors
ceiling,
is
ground and ceiling collision things. Also, I just don't want you to be able to fly around. So this, every time you, on every frame, it forces your Y position back to 0, and then it also handles the search for those collision objects and does the collision magic. So I made a method on it, or an input on it, that I can turn collisions on and off. So I'm gonna turn them off, and maybe by the time, okay, it's funny, ESLint, it's struggling a little bit. It's like, I don't think I like this, and it was 2/5 of the way done underscoring it with red squiggly before it realized, actually, no, this is all right, I give up. Um,
source. I'll be
all right,
source.
so let's go. Oop, okay. I'm like, oh, I'm not using the right keys. Okay, here we go. Run through the wall. Okay. It's very dark outside this room. Like it's in the air.
But what's the components selector again?
Uh, THRD cactus.
Okay, because I just did a search in the DOM. There's no element with the word cactus right now.
Oh, am I a doofus? No, it's
I mean,
saved.
I don't. I think the NGF for sure isn't actually. There's for sure a condition that's not truthy.
Okay, maybe my position thing is not right. Maybe it was, but it should be still. All right, let's do something. Let's do this simplest next up because I don't see it floating around here in the dark. So in my cactus component, let's just skip the position thing and just position it at 0, 0, 0. That way, okay. That way it should just kind of show up in
Oh,
the
you know
middle.
what? Actually, I'm searching for like even cork board, and that didn't pop up either. I'm assuming that obviously exists.
Oh my gosh, there it is. Woo! There's our cactus.
Well,
Oh,
ah,
it's also sideways. That's odd. It looks nice though.
hmm.
Boy, that texture on the textures on the cactus arms really don't look great, but UV mapping is hard. But look how, ooh, it looks very dramatic in the spotlight. I actually like that. Oh boy, that is not a lot of polygons on that pot, but that's okay. All right, so, oh, okay. This may be, okay, so the fact that it's turned on its side means probably if it is offset, it would be like really high in the air. Okay, so when you distort geometry in Blender, um, like if you're in edit mode where you're editing the individual vertices, you can scale the object and that scales it relative to the thing itself. Um, oh, I think the position observable is emitting. I think the geometry is screwy. So I'm going to do the old thing that usually fixes problems and apply all transforms. Okay, that's not good because it did change the origin is now it says it's at 0, 0, 0, which is not good. So I don't actually want to do that. But I maybe want to apply rotation. Oh gosh, yeah, okay. So it wait a minute, yeah. So right now it has a 90-degree rotation applied to it. Um, at least it shows that. So let me add rotation. Come on, menu.
Also,
apply.
just to confirm, like I believe actually all of um the
Oh
third
no!
stuff
Oh,
is
you hit a button.
removed from the DOM once the canvas goes. Because like
Huh?
none of the elements are there. Like the corkboard and the cactus, like those elements aren't in the DOM anywhere. So I assume they just get stripped out at
Ooh,
some point.
maybe it is like, that's kind of cool. Why? What is happening here? Okay, on object. Oh no, I'm clicking transform. I mean apply. Apply rotation. Here we go. Okay, let's save that. Let's re-export our cactus, and hopefully my most cherished son will not be lying down as if dead. Okay.
Hey. Oh no, wait, this is the other thing. Never mind. I thought this was I thought my screen refreshed and the cactus was there.
What?
Oh, because I'm watching.
Oh,
I'm
you're
I
looking.
was
No, this is
I'm
this is this is Blender. This is not the actual
yeah.
scene itself.
I was
Okay,
like, darn it.
so let's do a little manual refresh here. Okay, that's looking better. It is interesting that it's in the sky a bit. No, I guess that makes sense. It's 0, 0, 0. Okay, so that's good. Let's put the position stuff back how it was, and maybe we'll be in good shape. Interesting. Of the things I thought would take time to figure out, I didn't think getting, oops, too far. Didn't think the cactus was going to be an hour-long endeavor, but that's okay. It's a good thing I didn't get past 4 to-do items on my list because still on item 1.
Yeah. All right.
All right, moment of truth. All right, collisions are still off, so I'm going to go hunting, and I'm going to look high into the air and deep underground. Am I still turning? It's hard to tell in this. Oh gosh, I can't tell. Oh no, I am turning. Okay.
It'd be nice to have snow outside.
Yeah, I agree. You wanna work on that, Mark?
Yeah, yeah. I'll get on that
Pop some
PR.
snow. Just add the snow component to the application. Just kidding. No, that is an outside is a thing I would like to do. Um, boy, it really even the run button isn't really helping much out here because it's far
There's a
away. Okay,
run button.
yeah, shift lets you run. Oh yeah, that's something else I
Oh
built
my
into the
gosh.
the FPS control or component because otherwise
Okay.
there's a balance between like walking. Whoa, oh that was very strange. Okay, as I turned the corner, it looks like the room started breaking, but it's just because it's all solid black. Okay, well, cactus is clearly not outside here. Um, oh my gosh, how thick are these walls already?
Maybe.
This is indeed strange. All right, let's try another thing. Let's just, am I, okay, get position. Yeah, let's just put him where the cork should
Tap.
be.
Wait, have you? Well, have you confirmed that it is emitting?
No, I guess I could tap.
This is so trippy. Like I'm out of bounds. I'm like slowly moving.
Boundary
I feel
breaking,
like
no!
it's like I'm what's it? Like swimming underwater. Just the vast unknown. Oh my gosh. You guys ever do that? Like when you're playing games, like you end up tilting your head or like moving physically as if it has any effect. Like this isn't VR. Like you're holding a controller. Leaning forward will not make your car go faster. You know.
When I was younger, the like movie theaters, I think they still do, or maybe they don't because movie theaters are less cool now. They used to have what seemed like peak technology, like a little roller coaster ride at the beginning of the film, where they'd like advertise products and stuff. And it kept getting more fancy, but this is like the old, um, like early pre-rendered graphics stuff. And I had a friend. This is like when I was 5, so don't judge me too hard. But like as like the turns were happening, we'd both be like swerving in our seats, try to make it feel it's not like a motion ride, but have to add your own motion. But no,
Yeah.
since then I have not done a lot of dodging to. Well, if they're playing on Wii, that makes sense. Motion controls. Um,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I need to be able to see my console. Where is our cactus supposed to be?
Oh, it's on the board.
Is it?
I found it. Yeah.
Okay, it says our cactus should be at 39. Okay, there he is.
Just shoved into the
Well,
board.
so that's what I was expecting this. That's true. We did not exist back in the early 90s. Okay. Um, boy, could use a little more lighting over here to make cactus look nice. It really does look kind of dingy in the dark. Okay, so cactus should be a 39.65. So we're getting a position. It's
We're
just
getting
not
a
the
position.
right position.
Yeah. It's
I feel like this is still going to be. All right, let's look at some positions on here. Crystal
it's
ball. Oh, okay. Oh, cactus should not be. Cactus should be 1822 -5. All right, something. Ooh, wait. Oh no, I'm subscribed to Corkboard, of course. That's so. This literally is giving us no information. Um, I mean, it's giving us information, just not the information that is meaningful. Because obviously, it's working. It's in the Corkboard. Um, a beer pipe. Poor cactus.
what is a beer pipe?
I assume it's like a tap, a pipe that beer comes out of, sort of. I don't know.
Uh,
That's my interpretation. A beer pipe.
beer pipe.
Oh Lord, beer cactus or missing beer cactus. Missing cactus should be around 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. That would take a long time. So maybe that speck of dirt I saw earlier wasn't as much on my screen. Maybe it really was the cactus. All right. I have a suspicion that maybe I need to re-export my scene. Let's just see. What did I call? Um, is it this one? I forget where my. Oh no. Okay, the party zone. That's where I put it. Okay. Cactus position. That is what it should be called. My guess is if I look at my service, okay, yeah, I thought I was being clever, so I sabotaged myself. I thought I'd set this to 000 as the default, but apparently I put it so large as if to seem it was not working at all. Yeah, I've gotten, I like to think I'm passable at speaking Fabio, so I'm able to interpret what a beer pipe is. Um, okay, so let's re-export main scene. And maybe that was the problem all along. Okay, missing cactus should be around 000, so that's better. That means cactus was going to be in the middle of the room because it did not have a position. Okay, it's not going to refresh on its own because that's just geometry changing. What is happening here? Okay, am I doing something wrong in the scene itself?
I'm just making a collage of all the positions that the cactus is in.
Cactus model ID is cactus. That should be okay. Wait, what's the corkboard model ID? Corkboard. Cactus. Cactus. Okay.
Is it possible that those
At this point,
IDs
I'd say
are
anything is possible.
Are those IDs truly not being unique from each other for some reason?
You mean, I mean, it doesn't seem to be looking it up, which is the problem. Um, unless it's okay. Let me maybe my. I assume if the service wasn't working here, it wouldn't be working for the corkboard either. So I assume my service is okay.
Ooh, what if you commented out the cork board? Maybe
Maybe
somehow the way that it's all
it
set
can
up.
only work once.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be sad.
I mean, surely that shouldn't be the case. Like there'd have to be like a way to do multiple.
This has been OBS is telling me this is my like frame rate is fluctuating from like 60 to 44. Um,
Nice.
but I feel like that's an accurate representation of how like I'm seeing things too. Because okay, yeah, corkboard is now at 000, and cactus is also still at 000. So that didn't change anything. So that's
Okay, cool.
good? Question mark.
Yeah.
Um, let's look at the cactus geo again. Okay, yep, that's all cool. Oh, I didn't realize the model was in that too. I don't have to be importing these things separately. Actually, I might as well because I'm not using that, um, the share or the combined object anywhere else. Let's make sure, but here I don't have to be importing it. Yay, okay. Let's get rid of that tab. Okay, I am actually going to do, no, I'm going to print out the hierarchy of the full scene just so I can make sure that um, the position object is actually coming through. Oh, I guess that's
Whoa.
the thing that is
Okay, so
probably
it's
the
like, where are we? Oh, everything's gone. It's just the. Oh, okay. It loaded very weird. I was like, why is there just a cactus and a board?
cactus. Oh my, no wait. Okay, I misspelled position. All right. Well, I'm glad I thought about that after the fact. All right, now it should be good. Hopefully our cactus will be in the right place. It's always the one character mistakes. At least I know what I'm doing. I just can't spell. I mean, honestly,
See,
I feel like
that's what I tell myself every day.
I'm happy to own that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And suddenly I'm remembering why I didn't actually troll myself. I set it to 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, so that things wouldn't pop up in the middle of the screen. And they
Enum
would.
slave.
Okay, so no, it wouldn't have mattered. No, you
Oh,
also,
you would get
I
like,
wanted to do I wanted to have specific IDs that were like constants elsewhere. I don't think you can do that with enum, can you? Can you have you can't have enum names be, or member names be constants.
um, I don't
Oh, thanks.
understand the question.
Okay, so I assume what he means instead of doing this const thing, I could have done an enum, but I want the member IDs of the enum to be consts that are exported from somewhere else.
Oh yeah, that's I don't know if it can.
I don't think you can, but that's otherwise I would say yes. That makes sense.
Just gonna sneak in some code real quick. No, I'm not gonna save. You trust me. Um, move. Then can I do this? Is it like this?
No, I think it has to be constant.
Oh, it is freaking out.
Oh, it doesn't like the linting. All right, let's fix the lints. Oh, interesting. That makes no. So what the heck?
Wait.
Okay,
um,
you can do that? What in the world? All right,
I
hold
didn't
on,
know
hold on,
you
hold
could
on.
do that.
So I can just do, I think it has to still be a literal. So I think I can't do this. Okay, I'm wrong. Oh no, maybe I'm not wrong. Yeah, computer property names are not allowed any nums. Okay. So yeah, that's the difference,
Oh yeah, so it doesn't. Yeah, it definitely doesn't. Yeah,
which is too bad because that would be cool. All right, so let me put
darn.
my position thing back to um, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, because that was actually intentional again. Okay. All right, cool. Also, we don't care about this anymore. All right, so let's make this big enough we can actually see it properly. Whoa, what just happened? Let's make it big enough and let's stay there. Okay, cool. That's probably messing things up. Oh my gosh. Okay, I need to refresh because I resized my window and the center went away. Okay, that's odd that those things are loading before the scene, but I guess it makes sense because they're smaller. Okay, cool. Really do need some more lighting over here. Cactus is looking
Yeah, definitely.
very boring. Not boring,
That
but
are scary.
yeah, very, very moody lighting going on in here.
Yeah. It's the
Um,
loneliest cactus. You
Poor
should
cat.
make there should be two cactuses. That's not so lonely in the dark.
Aw, poor lonely cactus. All right, well, now oh, let's try this again. Oh my gosh.
That's a cool chabobber you got there. Um, I've been thinking about getting something like that.
The newer
Um,
one's better. Um, it's like more paper-like, I guess.
nice.
I can give you information about it. I mean, I guess you can tell what it is because it has the freaking logo on the screen, but that's okay. All right, so let's
It also has
do.
my name in it.
You're right, it does. I was like, wait, what? I'm very confused. All right, so look at that. We accomplished something. Wait, what?
Mm,
Paintbrush. Let's be dramatic. Boy, it's still tiny. That's okay. Okay, we did something. Make objects use the position service. We accomplished that a little bit, but that's our next step here.
nice,
Um,
nice.
so we've made object use position service, and I guess one of them already was. Um, oh my gosh, so many things that don't need to be imported here. Delete all unused imports. Bam. Okay.
I'm curious if you were to use because you're using ESLint, can you
Yep.
do Shift Command P and then ESLint fix all thingies?
I think they're all fixed. There were no
I
fixed
mean,
or problems. You mean in one where there's problems?
yeah.
I guess.
It looks like it may or may not have worked. Inconclusive.
All right. Well, I think we're going to be. Let's just say position registrations because saves on the characters. Okay. So this is going to be easy. Cut that. Maybe. I guess that's
Oh
okay.
wow, interesting.
What?
I don't have. I'm trying to test the ESLint thing myself. I don't have
Yep.
access to like ESLint and all that
Yeah,
stuff
you
through
have
the
to.
share.
Also can't do auto format. You have to change your auto format settings to um, the plugin to be live share, and then it apparently uses my settings. It's
Well,
very
so
weird.
chat has a question. if we have a recommendation
Yeah,
for ESLint
yeah.
rule
I
set.
don't know. Do you know of any good ones, Mark?
There's one that I've been writing a lot of apps lately, and there's one that I always go to. Let me grab that link. Pretty sure it's at Batovi/ESLint hyphen config. Let me make sure. Go ahead and drop that in the chat. Yeah. Well, bam. There it is.
Very nice. I am, regrettably not using that, but I probably should be.
Probably.
Okay, so for this, I was previously storing the position in a observable, but I don't need to do that because actually I guess I am technically going from using async pipe to having to do a manual subscribe, which maybe I was going to say async pipe, only losers use async pipes, but actually that is the preferable way to do it. But in this case, um, it makes my components cooler because I get to use that service I wrote, so that's why I'm doing it.
Oh yeah.
It would actually be even cooler if I had a nice RxJS operator, which I may actually do here in a second, that I could just pass in the ID and the service reference, and it would do both of these steps in one.
Yeah. I assume you're
Um,
doing this in multiple places.
yes, at least once per uh, additional piece of geometry. Uh,
Yeah.
let's be consistent here.
I was about to call that out. I was like,
Uh-oh, take and tell the story.
that's my favorite story.
Take and tell
That's
the
my favorite
story.
stuff. It almost sounds like a Tales Up game like title. Tales of Take the Story.
All right, what's wrong here? Am I still? Oh, it's until destroyed. Take until destroyed.
Tell the story.
All right, so that's updated. Now I just have to clean up my template. This also means one less ngIf and one less container and one less binding and one less input. And then I probably need to update the crystal ball to get rid of that position input since it's not going to be used anymore. Oh, actually, I need to update the implementation just in general. Um, make that read only. Read only.
Mm.
And that's cool. And then, okay, so this is another interesting thing. That crystal ball, which I'm sure is impossible to notice on the stream, has a nice little animation running in the middle of it. So this is how you deal with that. You can, I'm just subscribing to the geometry directly. Oh, I'm not doing any cleaning up. Jeez, how could I?
Oof. Oof. See, this also kind of goes to why, because like you technically are line 36, you have a take until, um,
Oh,
and
you
then
mean
after the
earlier?
fact you're subscribing it. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
line 38. Yeah, but this is why my opinion on where do you put the take until is always put it where the subscribes are. Never put it where it's not being subscribed. because it's just confusing. That's my mantra.
I'm also not sure just exactly what's happening here, why I'm doing this in two steps here. But, sometimes you make decisions and you're not sure why. Why can't it find this?
I mean, I think our computers are going very slow. I'm sure TypeScript is having a field day trying to figure things out right now.
I have to be, maybe I'm not using any custom operators. All right. Oh, utils. Too many. Oh my gosh. Okay. See, it's like, oh, 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 nope. Okay. What's wrong? Spacing. Okay. All right. Cool. I don't actually need this anymore. I could actually just do, oh. Oh no, okay, I see why. Second guessing myself, and I was right to begin with. All right, I don't need the pipe, but I still need access to the base loaded geometry so I can access the animations array. So I can find my animation and then create an animate or a clip action and run it in the animation mixer, and this will just play it indefinitely. Um, when I have a on before render, I call update on the mixer and give it a clock tick, which this clock instance, every time you can just call get delta and it'll give the amount of time that's elapsed since the last time it was called, so that it knows, regardless of like how frequently the update and or the before render fires, it will make up for intervals in between there. Um, this is also setting the volume of the sound effect when you click on the crystal ball that you guys can't hear, just because previously it almost made Mark deaf.
Yeah, I almost passed
Um,
out.
yeah.
And I want to reiterate this. Like, it's unfortunate that you guys are not seeing the application run at the correct frame rate, because that crystal ball does look really cool. Like when you actually can see it face to face to the thing. It's not as impressive with the stutters.
Yeah,
Um,
I will definitely have to get the
we should make like a GIF.
that could work.
Yeah, just show them, just send it out. This is what it actually looks like. um,
I'm gonna be lazy here, and oh gosh, I guess that wasn't that difficult. I need to add the position service to the constructor. Bam. Oh, I've taken every opportunity I can not to try to do that fix all auto fixable property or problem. That's okay. Um, okay, cool. So now last thing to do is just to add another if. Oh, double quotes. Okay.
Slightly inconsistent. You use position here, but then you use POS on other places. Tisk tisk.
Well, this was, again, even though it's a longer word, it was technically less keystrokes because I already have position written in it.
I prefer position because position equals position. I don't like position
Crystal.
equals POS.
Oh, yeah. I need to clean that up.
Ah.
I know, I see all the things you're doing to sabotage. All right, I think it's safe to get rid of these.
Wait, what did I do to
I don't know,
sabotage?
nothing. Oh, wait, are these observables supposed to be or undefined? I guess I was doing that previously.
Rooms?
But
Wait,
it
what?
probably was nothing. I was just looking at the observable type for position. I had it unioned with undefined. Um, but I think that was my attempt to see if I could just async off of them without having to do the if, but it didn't work.
Hmm.
Right. Is Crystal Ball still there? Based on the stutter, I assume so. Yes, it is. Can I still click on it? Yes, I can. Right. What a lovely and peaceful scene. Um, okay. Well, that is. Okay, so now we're on disable controls when overlay shows. So that actually probably won't be too difficult to do. Right now, I'm going to clean up here a bit by closing all of my many, many open windows or open tabs here. Oh,
Do you have a nice way to close all your tabs? Because I do close all other and then I close the last one manually.
yeah, that's what I do too. What's changed here? Oh,
I was trying to I was trying to see if I could what's it? Yeah. Oh yeah, so can you test it? Can you add the tab type and then see if ESLint will clean it up?
it will not.
Wow. Rip.
This may
Wow.
actually just be refactoring more than it is an ESLint thing.
Oh, okay. Well, still, I don't know. That's dumb.
Do all auto refactoring, it just renames every variable into your application. Automatic refactoring, everything's called A1, A2.
Hell yeah.
Yay, it's obfuscation at development time. Okay, let's close all these other things. Oh wait, no, there is just a close all.
Is there really?
Yeah, isn't that
That's
amazing?
not been there since I swear that's not been a thing always. Like I feel like maybe it's just because like close others is like really close to close. So like it just goes straight to the first thing that sounds about right. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay, stop spinning, please. Can I not make a
It's
scene
weird
view now?
on my text editor, it still says that party zone geo is an edited file, but I don't see that you're making changes to it.
Huh.
Oh god, I just undid something. Okay, all right, I'm just gonna back away. Just gonna close, don't save. All right.
What did you do?
I don't I don't know. It was that file. It was line 22 to 26. I did undo and then something
Huh,
changed and then I redid and then
weird.
sorry for breaking your application.
It's okay.
Uh,
So this is my first person controls component. Um, so it does some nice, it listens for key events, and actually does some fairly decent RxJS stuff that was harder for me to think about than should have been. Um, it also is what, so I asked you this question a couple weeks ago, Mark, about like, hey, if I have a thing and I want it to toggle when a key's pressed, how do I like
mhm.
start with initial state and all that? That was my having shift make you run and then go back to original running. Um,
uh,
So we've got this nice movement speed that merges your normal speed and then pipes off of shift key pressed, shift key released, and then maps it to your faster normal speed. So this ended up being a lot easier than I was trying to make it in my head. There was also, I guess, actually, I was talking about the escaped when I asked you the question about toggling. So there's just, I'm piping off the key up, and if it is escaped, then it emits, and whenever this emits, it'll use scan to toggle, and then starts with true. Um, so that's how those things work. So I want this to also, I want enabled to also be based off of the overlay service, its state. So I need to, oh wow, I don't have anything being injected into here.
Still, you're using Angular 14 and still using dependency injection through the constructor arguments. Gross.
Why not? Is there a big reason not to?
No,
Just because it's
not at
new
all.
and different and it's a way you can, so you should?
Yes. The
Fair.
cool kids do.
Yeah, but how do you, I mean, I guess that's fair. But how do I not use a test bed then? I can't construct it and pass in the provider.
No, you still it still gets provided. Someone has it provided for inject to
I just
work
have to
still.
make it, I have to construct the component and then set its members to be those provided things.
Oh, oh no, yeah. Wait, is this a ploy by Angular to
To
force
use the, they want you
to
to rest
further force
comfortably in
you
your
to
test
use the
bed,
test bed?
make the
Oh
test bed
no,
so necessary that you just can't get out of it in the morning.
yeah.
I feel like there's people don't take enough opportunities to make like sleeping jokes when talking about test beds. Um,
That's fair. Do you remember my slide? My
yes,
opening slide.
actually, yes, yes, you did a good job. You really brought the pun game in there, and I appreciate it. Um, okay, so enabled is based off of scan, toggle true, start with, um, but I also want it to be based off of, let's see, let's make a new observable and call it like overlay visible. So this would return the name of the active overlay. So I'm going to filter um, that it's a truthy string. So um, if I want scan to also care about overlay visible, I guess I could do with latest from, and then I would have toggle and overlay visible. Is that true?
Sorry, 1 second. Respond to thingy. Okay, I'm back.
Oh, did you hear my question?
No, sorry.
Okay. So I already had, let me just, I have the enable key press is based off of scan with taking in toggle from, um, or just every time that, actually this has to change anyway. Escape key presses. Um, oh, actually, no, this is even easier. I don't have to use with latest from. I should just merge these. Merge overlay visible and, um,
Well,
wait a minute.
it's kind of tricky though, yeah, because like, is it possible for like escape key to be pressed and then overlay shows, and then like it's in a weird order now?
Well, if you've pressed escape and it's disabled, I want it to be, maybe I should just do combine latest. Is that still a non-deprecated constructor construction operator?
Combine latest is good to go.
But
But with combine latest doesn't the problem with combine latest is it doesn't give you order, so you won't know which one's happening at the time.
that's okay.
Yeah, so merge.
I
Well,
don't
like
care
for
about the order.
instance,
As long as I have access to both, oh, as long as I have access to both of them, I want to derive the state from both of them.
okay, so overlay visible would be true when it's open and false when it's not open.
Uh, it will be once I've changed this from filter to map.
Okay. Then yeah, that totally works then. Yeah, combined
Okay,
latest is the one.
I'm gonna rename this to uh, I don't want to say like let's call it controls enabled by user. That way, this will be like whether it's been enabled by the user, meaning the
Enabled by
keyboard stuff got.
enabled by key press. Enabled by user, yeah.
Okay, and then this dot enabled will be
Combine the latest.
that should be an array. Yes.
Yeah. For some reason, merge is not an array, and that's the only one that's like that. I think in 7, it officially is deprecated, and they want you to use something else. But the weird thing is
Wait,
even
combined
that
latest
thing,
is?
not combined latest. Combined latest
Oh,
is I think here to stay. Just merge.
yay.
Merge is deprecated.
Okay, combined latest. That's going to be map. 'Cause that's my old standby. Um,
Overlay visible and
that's okay. That's good. Both of these will emit immediately regardless, so that's fine. This state should be based off of both of them. Um,
enabled by user will has a start with, and even if overlay visible doesn't want to have a start with, we can put a start with here.
but I think it should. I think it's a behavior. Oh no, it's not. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, these are the behavior subject things, so it should be good.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fine.
overlay visible, and here we go, enabled by user. So our state will be enabled equals
Overlay visible
not
or
overlay
enabled by
visible,
user. Oh, oh yeah, yeah.
not overlay visible, and enabled by user. There
Wait,
we go.
okay.
Right?
I don't like ands. Ands always hurt my brain a little bit. So enabled
Well, we
by
could make.
user
I could
means
change it to an. Oh, wait. So something and something is the same as not something or not something. So it would have to be. It'd be overlay visible or not enabled by user. Wait a minute. No.
yeah.
Wait.
What does enabled mean again? Enabled means that you can move.
Correct.
So you want it to be enabled, yeah, if there's no overlay and the user is enabled moving.
Maybe I said that
Yeah, so it's right. It's right the way it is.
backwards. Maybe. Oh well, I'm not gonna dwell on the logical inversions because it's again been a while since I've taken discrete math. But um, okay, so that should have done it. Make this bigger before it refreshes.
I also see that you have online 86 shift and you have like escape. Um, should be enums.
Well, I would agree that it'd be nice if JavaScript like provided consts for those key names, but they don't,
Oh, you gotta make them yourself.
I guess. All right, so I'm moving freely. That's all cool. I'm gonna click. Ah ha ha ha. Not moving anymore.
Whoa.
And now,
Hey.
okay, now I'm back to moving. So if I'm disabled though, it should stay disabled, and it does. Look at that.
RxJS magic. Am I right? Am I
Yeah, and
right?
that was fairly painful. Painful. That was
That
fairly
was
painful.
really
Hey,
painful.
take it back now. No, that was fairly painless, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So let's. Oh, sweet. Okay, we made it to the thing I was really looking forward to doing a little bit of, and we have like 20 minutes. I should be able to make some jumps. So this may be a little boring, but you can keep
Oh,
up
I've
the
been
lively
disconnected.
conversation while I do some arts. It's not going to be wonderful art, but um, All right, let's start by hiding that. And let's go to center of the screen. So you can see my joyous creative process. So there used to be a way in Blender to click. So they changed it a lot. It used to be to select something you had to right click, and now it's left click like everything else in the world, which
Hmm.
would normally be good, except my brain wants it to not be that way. So it's not good. Um, but you used to also be able to click and center the 3D cursor, which is where stuff gets put, but now you can't. So I have to manually make it 0 so that little cursor appears in the middle. And then I'm gonna whoa, add in myself a nice cylinder. And we don't want it to be too high poly. 32 sides, pff, too many.
Hey, what are we making again?
I'm making some objects that will be put on the table you can click on to get drink recipes. I'm assuming
Okay.
that alcohol recipes will be part of this party because it's important. And I think all the recipes will be different combinations of um, pickled foods and varieties of whiskey. No. Okay. All right. So here's our lovely cylinder. So I'm going to start out by turning it sideways and making some little subdivisions. So like this will be like a cocktail glass. So if I scale that in a little bit, it's getting a little narrow. Make the stem, scale that down. Ooh. Whoa, too much.
Oh. No, that's perfect. That's like, yeah,
That's
looks
the way.
looks
That's the
looks
way.
fancy.
Yeah, it's it's breaking uh, physical physics.
Yeah,
The only kind of physics
it's
that really matter. Okay, scale that down a little bit because it should be very dainty. Okay.
that's kind of neato. I like that. A little defined there.
All right, and then do a little box. And this may be, oh, I want to grab everything. There you go. That's
I'm trying
pretty
to
nice.
think. Is it normal for the bottom of
To be that fat?
yeah?
Maybe not. Um, a little better.
Yeah.
Okay, looks pretty nice. I'm gonna make this. So I'm actually gonna do an extra little loop here. The RxJ. I'm gonna have to come up with more drink puns. All right, so I'm adding an extra edge really close because I'm gonna make this smooth. I'm gonna smooth the faces, and I guess I'm not, maybe this is only if you do subdivisions, but um, if you make stuff the edges smooth, you'll lose the corners being sharp. So by putting two edges really close together, it keeps that definition there. So let me do shade smooth. Ah, looking nice and smooth. Actually, I want to do another loop there too, so that looks a little more defined. Okay, now the top of it is just this sphere, or this, yeah, the circle. So let me do a little extrusion here without moving it and then scale it in place. And now I can do, oops, another extrusion and scale it, bring it down, and then scale it in. Do it again. Oops, scale it in. Whoops. Uh, you brought that down too much.
So this is giving the cup like
It's making it hollow
thickness.
in the inside. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's just like a single layer of geometry, and if you take the top off, it'll just be like a hole all the way down. Um,
Mm.
yeah. So now it should have a lovely little. Oh yeah, and I've got a. I think there's a
Has to
way
have a
to. Um, actually, that face may be okay. Yeah, I guess it's going to be solids. That's good. Typically, 3D stuff, you're only supposed to have a face needs to have 3 or 4 sides, and this has 24 sides, so this isn't a proper face, but I can probably just, um, that's not going to work because it's not a quad or a tri. Uh, oh, I know what I can do. I can delete the face, only face. Uh-oh. Select that edge loop. There we go. Look at the beautiful filling job. Better than me having to do it manually. Okay, cool. So that's our lovely little cup. It is actually, all right, let's see how big it thinks this is. It's about 2 meters tall. I don't know, metric isn't, I'm not a person that thinks in the metric system, but a 2 meter size drinking glass sounds about right to me, right?
Yeah, I for sure have seen them in stores, like CVS's around like the holidays.
All right, so now I'm going to do, um, whoa, okay. I want to not make it see through. What's the easiest way to do this? I think do a little face selection here. Oh, that's not faces. Oh, crud. I don't know what I just did. Undo, undo. All right, let's do a little selection here. Whee. Okay. Oops, too much. Too little. Too much. Nice. Okay. So now I'm going to wish I had waited to do that. Let me go ahead and save this as a vertex group. Okay. I'm going to duplicate this object. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but I don't know what it is. Reselect those faces. Perfect. And then invert my selection and delete. Actually, I want to select a little bit less. There we go. Delete. Uh, Vertices. Yay. Okay, where is this object? I want to hide that. And now this is going to be our liquid volume inside of um, the thing, the drink glass.
Nice.
So use this glorious face fill thing again. Fill!
It is magic.
Beautiful. All right, so now we got this face is, I'm going to make this a tiny, tiny bit smaller, like scale 0.9. Oh gosh, okay.
Are
Say
you able to
scale.
just like cut, like slice off like a bit of the top? Is that a thing you can do?
I don't, oh, you mean to make it less deep? I was more worried about it like it intersecting with the walls of the glass. But actually,
Ah,
good point. This will be um,
very heavy,
a
very
very, very generously poured portion of liquid here. Actually, yes. So this is kind of cool. I've not done this before, but I'm aware that you can do it. Um, I'm going to add
a
a
mask.
plane
No, okay.
and bring it up maybe there. And then I know there's a way to do like a cut. I think I can just do object. Um, it's maybe actually okay. There's a way to do it this way, which is really cool, and I wish I knew how. But rather than doing that, I'm just going to do the lazy way and um, do another subdivide here, and then delete those vertices at the top and refill the face. Oops.
Noise.
Wish I still knew the shortcuts, but they changed them, which is fine. Just a big part of Blender used to be knowing the shortcuts. And I feel,
You, you got to get one of those what's those number pads, and then
oh, like the
you
keyboard
add
overlay. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
All right, so let's do, how much time we got? 10 minutes. That's probably good. Let's go into shading. I should probably also save
Ooh.
just in case things crash because I'd hate to have to build that cup again. That beautiful, beautiful cup. Let's go down here to our
And that
cylinder.
beautiful liquid.
All right, we're going to add some material to it. And I'm going to call this material liquid booze. All right, so going into our shader nodes here, let's make this like, I don't know, what color are cocktails usually? Like golden? It's,
I mean, I don't know if you can if you should Google booze on stream, but
uh,
I'll Google it.
it's like, I feel like
Cocktails.
brown, or, I mean, cocktails can be any color. Let's just be fun and make it like,
I like red.
yeah,
I like
nice
I like
bod,
a like
crayon
a
bod.
yeah.
All right, so we want to make this look like liquid. So we want it to have some transmission to it. A lot. Okay, there we go. That's probably good. Want it to have not a full alpha. Let's make it like half solid. Should look like liquid metal. No, it really shouldn't, but it may be a little bit. Give it a little bit of a sheen. And then even more importantly, to make sure it uses an alpha blend for its transparency. Any second now, that'll look better. Okay, cool. Let's add some backface culling so it looks a little more solid. And okay, maybe a little bit less transmission. And maybe a little bit less sheen, a little rougher. Okay. Oh, that's looking much too shiny to be liquid. Okay, that's probably fine.
That's cool. I like that.
And then I've already got a glass texture. I'm just going to use the crystal ball texture for this. And hopefully that'll be good. Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh.
Premium 3D alcoholic dispensing container. Um, okay, so let's give these some names so I know what they are. This is not a cylinder. This is a wine glass, I guess. And this is wine, or I'll say alcohol. Okay, so let's do the all-important object. Apply all transforms. Object, apply, I think all transforms. Okay, and then I want to make the alcohol, I want to make the wine glass the parent of, that is too long of a name for me to, well, I guess it's not too long of a name, it doesn't really matter. Um, all right, I'm going to make the alcohol a child of the wine glass so that it will be wherever the wine glass goes, the alcohol will follow because that's how you avoid getting things stained. Parent to object. I did it. The wine glass is now the parent of the wine. So let's see how big this is compared to the rest of everything else in this place. That's not too bad. It's again a generous size. Let's move it over here. Is it going backwards? It's out the window. Okay.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it can be a little difficult to tell. All right, now it goes down. Is it through the table yet? I should probably turn textures on. Yes, okay. Through the table it is.
That's the drinking game. You have to get the glass out of the table.
All right, and for now, eventually this will not be, eventually it will not be, oh, the tables, okay, I'm just going to put it in the scene because it will be, I guess a wine glass is furniture. Um, just because I want to see it and I don't want to have to make a class for it because that would take time. Let me export the updated version of the party room This will eventually need to be its own object just so um, it's easy to click on. All right, so now, so it does detect that the asset's changed, but it says that nothing, it doesn't do a refresh because I guess it's not hashing a binary object or comparing it, which honestly makes sense. Whoa. All right, it's going to be, there it is in the dark.
Oh my god.
And there's nothing, you really can't see it. All right, let's add a little bit of light. Hold on. Um, uh-oh. Oh.
Oh, you gotta make a small one for the cactus.
Have its own little glass for the cactus.
Yeah.
All right, let me add a point light.
So that's
I don't know where that.
crazy. So this whole process, like you can get these things into an Angular application fairly quickly using Three.js and like Angular 3.
Yeah, and the good luck try fun file format is amazing in this process because before you had to use a plugin. This is like a file format that's what's happening here. Uh, there we go. That is built into Blender, so you don't have to use a plugin, but you have to export to a Three.js specific JSON file, copy your textures over, make them available, load the material, or load your JSON file, load the textures, parse your JSON file, find the material you wanted, assign the various channels to those textures, and then get it all to display. And this, you just have to load
Yeah.
a single file. It's a large file, but it's a single file. And it is really nice. You can also, you don't even have to build geometry if you don't want to. There are primitives. You can add spheres and cubes and stuff and build it completely in the DOM and not have to load any external assets.
Mm.
It won't look as cool as this, but
Right.
you can. I mean, I guess you could too. You could also load images and make your own materials inside of it.
Well, also for Blender, is it possible? Or I guess first question: Are you planning on building all the assets?
You mean as a part, as opposed to like getting them from somewhere else?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
honestly that's part of the half, maybe not quite half, maybe 24% of the reason why I want to do this is to build stuff in Blender because I like doing it. It's part of my, it's one of the things I find fun. Um,
I feel you. I
I'm
mean,
not a
like,
good artist, but I love doing artistic things.
yeah, fair. I can relate-ish. Obviously, it's not anywhere as sophisticated as
Isn't that
this stuff.
majestic? Look at it. The light's nowhere
Ooh.
near bright enough, but look at that.
I like how this lighting on the table makes the table look really like realistic-y,
Yeah, it's like it
like it's
actually has a material that somebody put 20 to 25 minutes worth of effort into building.
there. Nice. What they do.
Do you plan on having one single component that renders? So yes, there is the scene component. Technically, is the single component that renders everything, but it has multiple components in it, and that's just so that if a component has behavior, like making it animate, or if an object has animation behavior or like interactive behavior, all that logic can be on the specific object itself and not lumped into the single scene component. Like if you clicked on this, it would like have a pop-up that says, how to make this drink. Open up Blender, insert a cylinder, and add textures, and you just made this drink. But no reaction, so I'm just gonna assume that was not a good joke and move on. Um, so yeah, that was it, and I'm gonna say, let me give that a check because I did technically do that. I
Fair
probably
enough.
need a few more and a little bit of variety. Um, so you're at 2 hours. And
Yeah.
I think next week there will be more leaderboard of nonsense, regularly scheduled programming. I assume. I don't know that for a fact. But whenever they feel like they would like a break, I will appear again and continue doing this development stuff and figure out what the next step is going to be, and presumably things beyond that.
Well, hopefully we'll we'll be able to do step 6.
Yeah, even farther along, onto one step beyond the step that currently has no requirements and no objectives.
Or I guess like the step 5 is question mark, question mark, question
Oh,
mark.
yes, I'm sorry, you're right. Silly me. Here we go.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
I That should have
Yeah.
been obvious to me, but here we go. All right,
Yeah,
well,
right on.
thank you for joining us, folks. Hopefully that was interesting and informative and somehow, or to some degree, communicated why I enjoy doing this and why I volunteered. Well, I didn't really volunteer. I just kind of stated that I'm doing this and have not been challenged yet. So I assume that's considered like being sanctioned, and I'm now the official 3D party website planner. Um, yep. So until next time, farewell. Oh yeah, and Mark, thank you for joining and keeping me company because this
Yep.
would have been
Thanks for
even
having
more
me.
rambly and unstructured had I been purely talking to myself.
Yeah, yeah, it was a fun ride, seeing all this stuff. Yeah, definitely looking forward to the next stream. If I'm either on it or just watching, like this is pretty cool.
Ooh, and I'm going to be a real streamer. Oh, well, just destroyed the illusion here. Hold on. Ignore that our faces went away for a second. Mark, you're on Twitch, right?
I am on Twitch.
Do you have a suggestion for somebody we could raid?
Oh, let me
That's okay.
go
You
on.
don't have to.
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. No raids. You guys just have to fend
Thanks.
for yourselves then. All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.